Up next, he's back in the room. He's always at the Innerverse, and he always brings us something completely different. And then he knows who I'm talking about, don't you? You're rubbing your beard. Just looking there, looking all ominous. Yeah? But so, can we show some love for the amazing Mr. Andreas, everyone?
Thank
Come
you.
on, Andreas, come and give us something. What are you going to do? It's not. Sometimes you're a poet, sometimes you're a comedian. Anyone think you're a human with lots of different aspects about you, wouldn't they?
Well, I thought I'd do something about the lockdown and coronavirus. Not that we don't get enough from the news, but we don't get everything from the news. I had an email, and I printed it out, and I thought I read it to you. It came from Radio Berkshire, and it has a subject line, Radio Berkshire virtual interview about lockdown. Dear Andreas, for our political department, we are compiling the views from local residents about the current state of opinions in this crisis. Because of your special situation, our listeners will be very interested in your contribution. We haven't been able to speak to you on the phone. No wonder I'm upstairs and the phone is downstairs. So here are two questions. First question. This epidemic crisis hits all sorts of different situations. Andreas, you have 5 children with 5 different women. How does it work with you ensuring that they are looked after? So I filled in my answers before I send it back. So my answer is we have to help each other. That is very clear. The women still carry the main load in child rearing. I know that from my own situation. The women are all single parents. So I said to myself I should show solidarity and take each of the children in turn. And naturally, that is exciting when you have the child all day to work with the curriculum. For instance, I'm doing math, but never understood adding up. And that was so cool when my son explained it to me. Essentially, everything is to be counted together, so it gets more and more and more. It becomes more and more. So addend plus tertiary equals past continuous. Lots of different terms which I don't really understand. So learning doesn't have to be a one-way street. And you have, if you have the time and talk to your children at a deep level, then you find out things. And that's really cool. So I asked my little daughter how things are going at kindergarten. She told me that she no longer goes there. She is at uni and studies biology 4th semester. For me, that was that made some things clearer. For instance, why she acted strangely 2 months ago when I wanted to play with her and her dolls. And that's a lovely experience for men at this time. The second question that the email asked is, do you believe that the official measures and recommendations to fight corona are sufficient today? Yes. I think that some measures are really positive. For example, in Harwich, some homeless people were sent into quarantined houses. That's that's nearly advance to a better social class. Closing schools, in my opinion, came too late. In my situation, 40 years too late. Much harder was closing the kindergartens. I lasted just one day. On day 2, they took the children anyway, and I just left them there. I saw no other solution. Afterwards, I had to lay down again. Closing institutions is, of course, dramatic, but also whole countries are closing. Just look at Italy, France, and other countries. But we also have to see that closed countries are an opportunity. For instance, if you have been to Finland, That should have been closed 80 years ago. I think that is good. I would say Finland can be returned to the Alps. And then the rest of the email reads, please let us have your response. We prefer a voice recording, but can accept an email and have an actor read it. Yours sincerely, at Iman, BBC Berkshire researcher. So I think that's relevant to the current situation, and you would not have heard that in the news.
Now, this is a man who always brings us something different, even if it is spelling his name weirdly on here, whatever it might be, or some funky braces, or some many faces that he does with his comedy.
I have prepared something, and that's pretty much fresh off the press, and it's called Bogies Aren't Vegan. I got talking to a vegan some time ago. He's a fellow artist by the name of Chester, and he keeps telling me about his diet. He told me that he isn't eating honey. I thought that's very laudable. He also told me, and I found that interesting, that he doesn't eat bogies. He says bogies are not completely plant-based. And that despite bogies with honey are so very yummy. But that's up to him. And he also told me that he only goes to vegan circuses. That means only circuses without any animals and any artists. They are around apparently, like Cirque du Soleil, etc. To which I said, I wouldn't even go into a vegan zoo, only to zoos with balloon animals, a woman taking photographs, and with benches to sit on. I don't need meerkats. Insurances are hard enough. It is also him who told me that using a bicycle is the vegan form of horseback riding. Although bicycles aren't purely plant-based, there is some metal in there. I have recently also started with vegan food, but first just with neighbor's cat. His cat is called Hector Pascal because he is a heavy breather for a cat. Hector Pascal is fed completely vegan food for a week now. At the start, I prepared him breakfast with oats and rice milk. He took a small mouthful and then he said, I don't eat that. I said, but why on earth not? He made, no, I won't eat that. I said, so many eat this now, and when everybody eats, then everything will be all right again. And he said, I'm not eating this shit. Try it yourself. Okay, then cut up a little mouse into it. Thank you.
Not a fan of vegans then, Andreas.
Sorry?
Not a fan of vegans.
I'm not particularly having a go at vegans. I myself, I don't eat anything cannibalistic for religious reasons. And in companies it used to be that there were always canteens and you could buy a tuna sandwich or a tuna roll or something, and I always ask, what kind of tuna is it? And they looked at me not understanding at first, and I said, well, is it bluefin, yellowfin, is it skipjack tuna? And they came back saying, oh, it's lime cod. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. And then I explained to them, I can't eat tuna that I don't know what kind of tuna it is, because then it might be piano tuna. but that didn't help. So I stopped eating tuna altogether.